July 22nd, Thursday 30. I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to open up my view here so you guys can give me some feedback on whether I'm actually live or not. That's always interesting to see. I'm in a remote location. I'm actually taking my sabbatical. This is something that I try to do twice a year, once a quarter, and if I'm lucky, I get to do it in a beautiful location. So you see I've got my most important things around me. I've got my post-it notes and my coffee. But here today, I'm going to talk to you, our overview today, we're going to talk about the therapeutic use of money. This is week 4 in our 10-week practice challenge. Summer is a great time to get your shit together. Sometimes our client loads drop. Sometimes we find ourselves with time, and it's great. I want you to achieve balance. I want you to self-care. But there are these precious hours in the early morning or in the late evening when you're able to really take some time and work your business. Not just work on your business, but work your business. Get out those books, get out those resources, and start looking at ways that your business can do better, right? So Thursday 30 today, taking you through week 4, the therapeutic use of money. Remember, all of the month of July and August, I'm taking you through challenges. If you participate in each challenge, you have a chance to win one $500 practice grant you can use towards something in your practice. Maybe there's some software you're looking at. Maybe you've been wanting to file for that PLLC and you could afford to get a great attorney. Maybe there's something out there you wanted to get a virtual assistant, right? There are so many things you can do with a single $500 practice grant. And I'm also going to give away little chunks of grants. So for example, maybe you want to start using DoxyMe or Full Slate, and a small practice grant, a small $100 practice grant could get you 6 months of service so that you can get your practice online, engaged. Maybe it will help you rent that first week or that first month in your practice. So all through the month of July and August, I'm taking you through the 10-week practice challenge week, and you can still participate, right? It's not too late. Week 1 was the kicker. We wanted to know your story. Send us a 1-page, just a little synopsis of the story that got you into the counseling business. The website or the email to send it to is kwtrainingit@gmail.com. Look for the hashtag in our group, Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses, hashtag 10-week practice challenge, and you can see all of the directions. Week 1, share your story. Week 2, what mistake did you make, right? Get it right the first time. We talked about some of us started with a name and then we changed our mind. Week 3, that was last week. It was, come on, Kate. Mistakes. There you go. Mistakes and how to fix them. And of course, I'm in Eastern time zone trying to plan things in Central time zone while I'm teaching in Mountain time zone. So lots of mistakes there. And then this week, week 4, I'm going to talk about the therapeutic use of money. Week 5, we're going to talk about managing your time effectively. So time software, good scheduling software. We'll probably kick in there a conversation about our 10-minute phone consultation so you stop playing phone tag with your potential clients. Week 6, my favorite, achieving balance. Week 7, specific tools of the trade. We'll talk about systems, paperwork, specific tools that you can use, especially you newbies who are thinking about or in your first weeks of private practice. We're going to drill down into some of our favorites, including the receipt. I saw somebody who wanted to see a global billing receipt. We'll get into that. I'll show you that in week 7. Week 8, for you folks who are interested in private practice, it's the Private Practice Primer. I know some folks watching this are just planning to go into agency work or school, not just, but who are planning to go into agency or school counseling, and that's great. But week 9 or week 8, we dovetail off into the Private Practice Challenge. Week 9, we get into the differences between insurance, private pay, telehealth, all the things. And then week 10, I'm going to introduce you to some experts who can really help you along the way. Remember, Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses is the only place I know of with free mentoring, and that mentoring is the form of these Thursday 30s. If you look for the hashtag mentors or badass mentors, you're going to find them in this group. Look into our files up here and you can see tons of information that folks share, everything from job openings to paperwork. This is the place for free stuff if you're interested in a sustainable, ethical, profitable mental health private practice. And you know what? The word is out. Did you know this week, this is my favorite part, this week we're welcoming 29 new badasses who are going to help us close the gaps in mental health care in Texas. I want to see a mental health professional in every Texas county. I want to see more than just one. I want to see 50 in every Texas county. That's what our mission is. That's what our goal is. You're part of the solution to get mental health care in every Texas county. So let's welcome, oh my gosh, Amy Smith, Don Bruckenhofer, Kim Parsley Bowen, Jessica Ika, Missy Compton, Ms. Red Jack, Carrie Pagnoa Riggs, Paula Tinsley, Annie Myra, Amberly Precota, Findley Harris, Alice Fairburn Loper, Maritza Martinez, Dr. Jennifer Singerlin Ryan, LPC, Melissa Shiplet Jupe, Food Freedom Therapy, love that, Bailey Alyssa, Taylor Elizabeth, Victoria Scarborough, Cindy Bandemer, Kate Walker Training, yes, I joined, Michelle Caton Richardson, Denise Dominguez, Christy L.W., Rachel Price, Lee Folks Miller, Melissa Alvarado, Christina A. Hales, and You Can Too Professional Counseling Services, PLLC. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. Remember, our mission is to make sure that you don't go out of business because you didn't know the rules, you got in trouble, you didn't have business tactics, you burned out. Hashtag counselors don't quit. We are counselors for life. Counselors for life because you're too important. Your community needs you. They're going to rely on you. And if you don't do business right and you go out of business, you've done a disservice to everybody. So we're here for you. We want you to succeed. End of story. Get in business, stay in business, become a supervisor, supervise the next generation of counselors, and on. Be part of the solution. All right, so let's talk about money. Let's talk about money. Yes, counselors, we have issues with money. It could be the scarcity mentality. It could be the way our parents talked about money. It could be the way that we experienced money in our late childhood, early adulthood. Maybe we have some stories about first relationships where money was an issue or even the reason for the breakup. I'm not going to talk about any of that. What I'm going to talk about are the ethics of money, the value of money, and why you must see money as a therapeutic intervention. So one of the things to be aware of, I'll see in some of our groups, people are wanting to know what you charge. Hey, what do you charge in this area? Or hey, counselors in San Antonio, or hey, counselors in the Metroplex or El Paso or Corpus Christi, what are people charging? Well, there's an ethical dilemma with that called price fixing. It would be as if, I don't know, all of the oil companies got together and decided on a single price. Yeah, that happens. But for most businesses, that's not an ethical way of doing things. In fact, there have been lawsuits when people in a region, in a particular industry, what we're going to charge, everybody on the same page? All right, great. And then they could all raise it together and they could all lower it together. Yes, that's what happens with oil and gas. But like I said, for us, it's not ethical, right? We can't do price fixing. And for those of you who are planning to take insurance or who do take insurance, you may have even signed some fine print that indicates you cannot reveal what you're being paid because the insurance company pays different rates depending on the demographic, your region. Underserved areas may get paid more. Overserved or saturated areas, they may barely pay you a living wage. So if you share that information ethically or even contractually, you may be doing some illegal things or unethical things, right? So we always want to be mindful of sharing rates or fixing rates or having an organization where we all have the same rate. That's not a good thing. The other piece is the ethics of money, in essence, puts you in a dual relationship with your client. And if you don't believe me, try going after somebody who hasn't paid you or who keeps showing up to sessions and they owe you money, or they show up to sessions but for some reason their insurance won't pay you, right? I've seen the stories. I can see all of the threads in several groups. I see when people are trying to chase down cash, and maybe the client knew that the insurance company wasn't going to pay, but they started coming anyway, right? Maybe the client knew that their credit card number was one digit off, but they promised and they promised that they were going to pay you, and they kept coming 3, 4, 5 more sessions, and you never get paid. I see the threads. Should we get a bill collector? Should I hire a debt collection service? Well, now you're in an antagonistic relationship. In Texas Supervisor Training and in Kate Walker Training 40-hour supervision training, we talk about how the relationship is paramount. In supervision, it's up to the supervisor to maintain that relationship if there's a rupture. Well, with our client, it's up to us to maintain a therapeutic relationship with our client. And if we're chasing down cash, that gets ruptured. It means I am now banker trying to be your counselor, right? I'm trying to collect money from you while I'm trying to tell you how awesome you are. It just doesn't work. Our brains aren't wired like that. So we have to be very, very careful with our systems for collecting money, because you don't have to sacrifice a living to deliver services, right? There's nothing in our code, in our laws, that say you must work for free. You must get paid. So when we talk about the therapeutic use of money, I see a lot of folks who want to give away their services. They want to do pro bono services. And ethically, that is a wonderful thing. But the big but is when something is free, it's not always valued. I'm going to say that again. When something is free, it's not always valued. So your client who's coming for free, something comes up and they can't make it, but they don't call you. Your client who's free, they come to a session and they let you know they just bought a $2,000 racing bike and they're so excited, and they want you to be excited for them too, because they're doing all the things that you're talking to them about, getting exercise, getting out in nature. And meanwhile, rupture, there goes the relationship. When you give away your services, then it's likely your services won't be valued and you will be treated accordingly. We only take care of things that we value. That's human nature. There's an anecdote, a story about a jewelry store that they sold turquoise jewelry. It wasn't selling, and so the owner told their assistant, left him a note, and said, half off, get rid of everything. Well, the owner came back. Sure enough, all the jewelry was gone, but there'd been a miscommunication. The assistant had accidentally doubled the price of everything. The patrons came in sensing that, hey, this was good stuff because it was very expensive. It flew out the window. Now, I'm not suggesting that everybody double their rate today and expect to make, all of their clients super happy because now they have a valuable product. You still have to get the training. You still have to do good work. You still have to show up on time and be there for your client. But, I'm saying but a lot today, not charging anything is not always a solution to giving your client an affordable, valuable service. So what is? In our week 4 practice challenge, the question I asked was, how much would you pay for your favorite meal, right? And I think I put down, sushi and some tempura broccoli, and I'd pay around $50 for that. I want to know what you would pay for a good meal. I know when I was a young mom, I had 3 kids, 5, 10, and 15. And Friday night was pizza night, and there were 5 of us, and I had a 15-year-old boy, and the boy could eat. So we didn't just get one large pizza, we got 2 large pizzas, and we polished that puppy off and had leftovers for the rest of the weekend. It didn't matter how much I was making or my husband was making. Friday night was pizza night, and it was at least $60 every single week, right? We made room in our budget for that. It wasn't a new car payment. It wasn't trying to get health care. It was something that our family valued and we were willing to pay. Now, when I started Ann's Place, our nonprofit that offered sliding fee scale services to our community, I based my pricing off of the price of a large pizza. Because we're not like going to, the doctor or the dentist once every 6 months to get our teeth cleaned. Most of us need to see clients weekly or at least bi-weekly initially, and then taper off as they improve. So when we're thinking about, okay, no, I want this person to come weekly, I don't want money to get in a way, I want you to remember the family who's buying a large pizza because they value it every single week, right? If you can price your services to at least what Domino's is charging for a large pizza, now you're getting somewhere, right? You already know you're providing a valuable service, and you know that you're competing with a service that is popular with families in your community. And so now you have a place to start if you're trying to provide low cost sliding fee scale services. Now, I got this idea from a registered nurse who was delivering services in a part of our community that's generally underserved. She took zero insurance. Now, I'm actually commenting because there was a thread at Badass Business Builders about pros and cons of cash versus insurance, right? And there were a lot of cons about insurance, lots of pros with cash payment. Well, I'm going to throw in my 2 cents, haha, right? So I'm going to throw in what I've learned. When I met this registered nurse who was delivering services, everything from x-rays to band-aids to splints to, strep tests, she developed one fee for every single service. It was $60. $60 for every service that she offered. Okay? Now, with the medical profession, they can see a lot more patients in an hour, right? We are stuck with one patient, 1 hour. We're not, at least I hope you're doing that. So it's a little bit different, but imagine if you could say that you're making $60 an hour. That's pretty darn good. With a master's degree or a PhD, $60 an hour, not bad. And if you're in a demographic or a community that you feel called to serve, and you look around at the price of pizza and you're like, you know what, $60 isn't bad for a weekly service or a bi-weekly service, you can make a living without ever having to take insurance. A lot of times with insurance, those clients are receiving a free service, right? There's no copay, there's no deductible. It's simply they know somewhere somebody is paying for that service. So again, we're in that are they going to value it dilemma, right? They may value it once, they may value it twice, but they may not value it as many times as you need them to in order for them to fulfill your treatment plan. So with this model, this idea of one price based on a large pizza, you can possibly comfortably now start to deliver a service that is therapeutic, right? Because money is a therapeutic intervention, right? You're helping your client see that you're valuable. You're helping your client see that something that is valuable, that is worth paying at least the price of a pizza for. And you're helping your client understand that there are costs to valuable things. And this is my favorite, you're mitigating that dual relationship of banker, counselor, banker, counselor. I mean, we're all there, unless you work in an agency or you're able to work in a large practice where somebody else handles that. Small businesses, small practices, that's me. I am the one collecting the money. So I'm trying to put as much distance as I can between me and the actual transaction. So that brings us to our last point. The therapeutic use of money. When do you collect the payment? Well, for me, what I've learned and what I've heard from other experts, you need the credit card information on file so it happens automatically with the client's permission, of course. Or you do it at the beginning of the session to make sure that that's taken care of, because the end of the session, it's an emotional place. You're going there and you're trying to heal some loose ends. You're trying to make sure that your client isn't going out into the world emotionally just raw. So having all of that happen, and then, oh, by the way, I just ran your card and it got declined. Can you give me another form of payment, please? And they're digging in their purse and they're crying. No, we're not going to do that. The therapeutic use of money means it's done. It's not a part of this time you and I are spending together. It's happening somewhere else at another time outside of this holy, sacred space where I'm going to help you become the best you that you could be. So ultimately, the therapeutic use of money is to make it like it doesn't exist, okay? The payment is taken care of outside of session. Now, some people have asked me about bundles, prepaying for sessions. Now, I can't speak for the licensing board. I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV. I feel as long as you're willing to refund that money for sessions that don't happen, that's not a bad way to make money a non-issue. I am open to hearing comments about that. Absolutely open to hearing comments about that, because legally we only take money for services rendered, right? So if a service is never rendered, you owe that money back to the client. So that's one way to make it a non-issue, especially in this age of telehealth, right? In the age of telehealth, they're not walking past the front desk and paying your receptionist, right? The transaction has to happen one way or another. So let's review. Here's what we talked about today: the therapeutic use of money, week 4 in our 10-week practice challenge. Remember, you have to participate all 10 weeks to go into the drawing for the $500 practice grants or the mini grants. Week 4, the therapeutic use of money. We talked about price fixing and how chasing money down puts you in a dual relationship with your client, and the countertransference runs rampant and it can harm the relationship. Number 2, we talked about free is not always valuable. People may not value what you don't value, right? If it's free, they may not show up. They may stop coming to therapy. We talked about a business plan based on a large pizza. For those of you who have no intention of taking insurance, or you're worried about taking insurance, but at the same time you're worried about making a living in a demographic that doesn't appear to support cash payments, looking around and seeing what families generally pay on a weekly basis for convenience items like fast food, that can help you set a price that you can earn a really good living. And then finally, we're talking about ways to continue to mitigate that dual relationship, that tension, by collecting money at the beginning of a session, by making sure you have credit card information on file, or bundles. If you do bundles, just keep it small, right? 2-3 sessions max. Don't do a 10-session bundle, right? We're not in the coaching business, right? The coach, no, all respect to coaches, right? But we really, if you're going to do a bundle, keep it to around 3. And remember, if the client stops coming, to give that money back, because ethically, legally, we can only take money for services that we actually render, okay? And so that's it. That's our 30-30 today, Thursday 30 today. The therapeutic use of money. Don't be afraid. Remember, you're too important to lose to going broke, and you're too important to lose to burning out, and chasing money is one of the fastest ways to really start to dislike this business, all right? So hang with us, use the summer, get your practice together, get your shit together, take some time, do your sabbatical, put your post-it notes on the wall, get your head around what kind of sustainable, ethical, profitable private practice you want to have, because we are #counselors for life, #counselors don't quit. Let's put mental health providers in every Texas county. This is Dr. Kate Walker. Have a great day.